And let's begin again. Sorry about that. Let's start again. Mechiras Chametz. No, he's not looking anyways. It's okay. He'll pop up after something's interesting. I want to know where we said it. So Mechiras Chametz, chapter 8. He doesn't even know that we said that. Chapter 8, Sif Hey, page 81. There. You with us? Givaldik. Misha Sarach Eza Moitzer. Just don't watch the beginning of the show. You don't want to know what just happened. Misha Sarach Eza Moitzer Chametz Yarachar Pesach. Someone who wants a particular day of Chametz Pesach, and you don't have time to bake it or buy it. Kigoin. Mamish. Umin Haggai, and this person sells Limkar Gam Chametz Gomer Lenachri. Medina Yachalafais Iliknais Kaidim Pesach Limkar Legai. You're allowed to buy it, bake it, and then sell it to a guy. And really, the depth, I think, for many of us that don't know there's such an Isser right to be we're like, well, obviously, you sell chametz chamer. What's the shaila? The shaila is something called the Reitza Vikiyumai, which means you're not allowed to want the existence of chametz over Pesach. So why over here? Want is the greatest want in the world. I bought it, I baked it, the whole ganze Zach, and it's waiting for after Yontif. Says Rosh Shmuel in footnote, hey, shkan ein loymar al kigoin da to Guru Alaska. We don't even say that it is the wrong thing to do. And Lamaisa, that's halacha. I saw Rudinsky dealt with a similar shayla. Someone sent in fascinating shaylas. It's one of those things that in Sugya it's a good kasha, but Lamaisa we are makel. In Sivchas over here, I flipped to page 83. Classical case, Erev Pesach, and it's 20 minutes before the Zman. You're like, oh shoot, I forgot to sell my chametz. So that's going to be pretty bad because they already sold it to the guy. But let's say better. They send out a message. Final time to sell chametz to the Rav is this year, right? So Pesach is Monday. Pesach is Monday night. B'dikas chametz is Sunday night. So it means your dalit is Sunday night. That means your gimel is Shabbos. So it's going to be Friday. They're going to sell to the guy, and then be Sunday morning. So right, last your dalit is Sunday. Yeah, here we go. Okay, your gimel is Sunday. Thank you. Your gimel is Sunday. This is what I wanted you to listen. Your gimel is Sunday. So you can go Sunday morning and they're going to sell it. So you can put out a message, final time to sell. On the drive over to the guy quickly, frantically calls, Rabbi, I forgot to sell my chametz. Well, what do you do now? Says Rav Shmuel, Mashaisim kinyan sudar marav shamaychas chametz to make a kinyan sudar. Einoi ella lechazik inyan. ולכן מזם שאני יכול לבוא אל הרב בעצמו למנסות שליח לעשות הקינן סדר, יכול למנות שליח בכתב או על ידי telephone. In the bottom it's Sif Yod, Katan Yod, if you want a nice Maramakim, Rav Forsheimer, B'Shem Ramosha Weinstein. He heard from Ramosha Shiachol of Noshlicha de telephone, V'nitvas B'Chayveres B'Kol Torah. Absolutely fascinating. And the next Sif, he says you even can send a kid to the Rav to sell your chametz, to tell him to be your shliach. And Sif Katan Yod Aleph, Shmuel says, Shena Kata Isek Klom El Rakim Media. You're just telling the Rav to be your shliach. That's why it's okay. Now, I do not know if this also would be a heter to sell online. I don't know if it's the same thing. I did see it, and I am not equipped even to comment. That's how low of an equipment we have. Not a word. That's how low as it is. Rabbi Rudinsky writes he doesn't like selling online. He says he has shilos with the kinyan. This might be different. It might be verbal communication or written communication might be different. I don't know. Lamaisa, many places are makel to do it online. I heard a beautiful line. Someone said why you shouldn't sell it with these public online mechiras. Because sometimes we'll say it two ways. Sometimes the only time a constituent sits with their Rav is an Erev Pesach. Why is that important? First of all, Stam, for the Rav to say to him, hey, can we sit down and schmooze? The guy's like, what did I do wrong? It's a little like being called into the principal's office. Whereas, if you have to sit down anyways, and you sell your chametz, and as you sell your chametz, you can chap a shmooze, and how's everything going? And that's number one. And it goes even deeper, is sometimes to ask the guy, does he need money for Yontif? It's like an awkward question. Like, hey, John, you need money for Yontif? Well, not John. Hey, Ruvain, you need money for Yontif? It's a little bit awkward. But in conversation, you could ask him, are you for Yontif? Oh, yeah, I might say I'm struggling a little bit. Oh, okay, can we get, the local tzedakah can get you a few dollars, which are both beautiful reasons. A third reason, now we'll flip the pages, that's for the person. Third reason is for the Rav. Lamai says, we're going to see in one moment, in Sef Yod, there's a minog, chumrah, to give the Rav money when you sell chametz. So, we'll see right over here that Rav Shmuel is going to tell us, Lamaisa, you don't need to. Let's just read a Yud Aleph. It's mitzad halacha, because then he becomes your worker. Ulamaisa misad halacha ain't tzarich klal litin ma'is. Halacha you don't have to. Mashanagu laslo tashlam urak kischar tircha ba'alma. So halacha one does not need to. However, it's one of I guess the 3 times a year that the classical person has an excuse to give the Rav a few dollars. You have Hanukkah, people find an excuse, and you have Purim and you have Pesach. Sometimes it's a very nice thing. Someone gets to show their cars a type, and he gives the Rav an extra few dollars. So those are 3 reasons that even though these online mechiras, again, I told you, Rabbi Yardinsky said it's not so pashit. Lamaisa in a lot of the places they do it, but other reasons why maybe it's not such a lechatchila to do. Okay, they get involved. What happens if you forgot to sell your chametz? You're not getting involved in those World War $1 million shilas. We'll continue over here. And a classical case of time zones. Time zones. What do you do if you're going to be in a different time zone? So when you're going to California and you're selling with the Rav in America, California is which way? Back, up. So now you have a big problem. So pre-yontif, no big deal. You sell mechiras, you gimel, and you're fine. What about when the Rav buys it back? So 2 years, what? You're owning chametz. So 2 years ago, literally on the last day of yontif, so a guy comes over to me frantic. He's like, I own grocery stores in England. England is after us. He said, what? Ahead in English. Not, after us is weird. Yeah. Ahead. Thank you. So when Yontif ends by us at 8 o'clock and the Rav buys out the Chametz at 9 o'clock, it's still Pesach there until 1 o'clock. England. America.
It was already sold. Yeah, Pesach ended. We buy the Chametz, you're still below Pesach when they bought
Oh, so that's fine. Okay, no, that way it was good. No, so then he didn't have an issue. Okay, maybe I don't remember the case. No, I think. Good. Okay. Good. I don't know what his case was. Either way, point of the story was, I said this is regarding Ramesh's tshuva on this and others, but I told him just there's this big beard here. His name is Rudinsky. Go to him and don't worry, he'll tell you you're okay. But Lamaisa says Rav Shmuel, and let's see how this works. Mishadar Beretz Yisrael Magil L'Chol BePesach. All the Bachrim and Yungalai coming home. You're able to sell in America. Now this is one of those things. This is the everyone wants to know before they're leaving Eretz Yisrael. They say B'Shem Rav Elyashiv that you should sell it in Eretz Yisrael. I have not seen it in print. Lamaisa, Rav Shmuel says, it says of Daniel Asher, you sell the guy a little bit of chametz. So I don't understand. If the guy's answered more money to go fly to get your chametz than the whole mechira, how in the world could you call that a good mechira? Rabbi lo hiskim. Says ayin hativ and shut your smeisha the word come dated the ben chola nimsa beritzel yachlim chamesh of chola the Rav Israel. Well here klum Ramesha does not say anything to other limcha chametz or day Rav b'chol kadeshi chametz b'makom anachri, and that's how he ends. Again, I've heard that they say the Rav Elyashiv was makbid. I do not know why. As over here we see clearly that we're not chayshish for these svaras. Now we continue in Sivchav. I know you say Meritzel chola lehepech. So the mice you should be machmir both ways. So after all the time zone differences settled over here, everyone of course knows what's going on, aside from myself, but I'll worry about that later. And but he could so the problem is you get messed up one way. Let's show one more time. Europe is which way to us here? Oh, good. Perfect. So last year, good, perfect. I've Balabas who's going to I think it's Antwerp. So you wanted to know what in the world do I do? Because you're going to buy back to Chametz 9 o'clock at night, and I'm still Pesach.
No, you're going to sell the Chametz. If you're in America, you're going to sell the Chametz. If you're on the West, it's already past Malachila.
So whatever, Motzi Yantiv.
Here, they're going to sell it back to you when they're going to over, but you spent 3 hours and then you left. So you're going to get back.
California. Good. Okay, so we'll change the story. He went to California for Yontif, and he was enjoying the nice warm weather. And that's what happened. So we're buying it back, and it's still Yontif for him for another 3 hours. So wants to know, what do I do? Says Rav Shmuel, Ba'anal shezach lichavin. Shaloi liknas chametz b'motzei yantiv ad acher gemara pesach b'chol. Sagi b'mashem achavin ba'atzmoi ve'ein tzarich lahagid davar zel harav. If you have kavana, I'm not getting it back until I finish yantiv. That's enough. Isn't that Mayerdik? He says in Arach Chavav, he says, in Arach Chavav, well, yeah, says the mashad adav leimer befirish l'rav. Ramosha Feinstein is mashma. It's better to tell the Rav Shin Sheliknos Cham Zed Acher Zman Motzei Yom Tov. Sarch Ian Lamet Sarch Lezeh. He asked why that's necessary. V'ayin Shebech Yitzchak Deman Dolonich Le'Mikni Lokani Gam B'li Leimer Klum. You can't be kind of something against your das. And that was the reason why in that case with the guy, and I don't know if he was in England, I don't know if he was in America, I don't know where he was. I was in America at the time. But that's the reason. If you don't have das to be kind of, you are fine. I think his was actually more complicated because, yeah, I don't know why I'm still doing this. Because his store in England opened. Yeah, it makes sense. Store opened, Matzah Yantif, and they're selling chametz, and for him it's still Yantif. So that's the other way. That's the other way. So I said to him, L'chair, you have another partner, right? If you're in this on your own, then yeah, you might have a problem, but it's nothing to do with it. It's stam, the same issue you have on chab, you can't have things. So the answer is, I believe he did, and that is so. But anyways, that's the answer. So God, in our stories, we have a checkbox in a different time zone. But Lamais, as long as you have das, you are fine. Those are some fascinating halachas of. Oh wait, one more over here. Sam Chav Zayin is probably the most asked shayla, definitely high up on Yantif. On Yantif, this is the Cholamoid shayla. What's the shayla? No, not if there's a sale and can I go buy the shoes because I happen to only be there for a cholamayit and you went there for the sale. No, not that shayla. But the shayla is that I left something at home. Can I go home and get it? But I sold it to the guy. Or the cabinet with the big X on it, I realized, oh shoot, I have in there also my whatever. Why? Why is it mutter? Why is it mutter? If I sell you, if I buy your car, you come in like, oh, Rabbi, I'm just going to take the car. No, it's mine. I bought it from you. What are you doing? Zakta Shmuel, Zakta, it's a Mishnah Berurah, I believe. We'll get to the bottom of it. I'm not sure. He's not makbid. He doesn't care if you go into that room. He's buying the chametz. Interesting. In footnote Lamed Gimel over here, he says, classical kasha. It's a joke. You're no. So slow. So first of all, two different cases. No, you're not. No, you have to sell part of the makam also because the chametz is the only way. The real way that we get out of all the kinyanim issues is that the guy is soicher, is renting part of your house. And all that is kind of agav out, but if you could go in, then what do you rent it? So Shmuel answered that the reason why you're going in is because you know the guy is not makbid. So it's not a joke at all. The same thing. Last continues of Dinalash. I told the story. So Shmuel makes it sound like, do you want? He says, what do you mean? Rosh Zalman says only Tzar Gadol. Dami Kanis l'Sham Avi Kimachitza Avi Amachitza Shasa Gochul Chatzaluya. May Rabbi Shlita Eishev Shlomo Tzinu Inyan Machitza Elo B'Chamit Shal Akum B'Beisei Shal Yisrael. Wow, that's a little mechudash. Aval Kansham, he's arguing Rosh Zalman. Aval Kansham Achar Acheder Avi Acheder K'Beisei Shal Akum. So I'll just wonder aloud. I will wonder aloud. What does it mean you could enter in? I wonder aloud. L'maisa, I've seen many poskim write like Rosh Zalman. In a time of need, you're allowed to go into the room, to the area, etc. Rosh Shmuel is paskening that it's mutter. What do you need? Doesn't sound like any. The whole kasha from Rosh Zalman was Sarah Kadol. And what did Shmuel answer? No, not Sarah Kadol. It's the guy's house, and the guy is not makbid. So now let's just ask the classical kasha. I want to sell my old house because I'm going away for Yantif. I know I'm going to come home one day to take a shower. Is that mutter? Chayr if you're Shmuel, the guy's not makbid. and v'chulu. And now, if someone wants to know what's the lumdus of the guy not being makvid, it's because he's buying your chametz. You're renting him the house, agav. But lamaisa, he's buying the chametz. Interesting. Two last little halachas in Chav Ches. He says, even though the place came right, you have to write all the types of chametz and you shouldn't write stam and there's two types of shtaros. They do a klali shtar and a prati shtar. We usually just do the prati shtar. It's based on some of the poskim. Others do two shtaros, but it says you don't have to list them. If you didn't list it, so works. Of course, the way to do it. I'll just end off with a public service announcement. I don't know anything about this, but apparently Rabbi Radinsky was writing about this. Is Airbnbs, rentals, hotels. You rent a fancy hotel room, you come in, and there's food for you. So if it's a little mini bar that you have to buy, it's not yours, so you don't have a problem. But if it's an area, it's a fancy place, and they give you a complimentary, snack, and you come in and there's cookies and soda or a bottle of wine sitting on the table, you own that. That's a very shver shayla, because you just bought that and you own it. And therefore, if one is going to a place where they provide some level of amenities, whether it's a room rental, whether it's a hotel, then you just have to be careful and you have to call them up and you have to tell them, thank you very much, but I do not want this and I am not buying these items. Now, what if you say that and you show up and it's there, which probably will happen? Because, okay, the guy says, okay, sure, no problem. We'll write down, you don't want the cookies. But the cleaner lady that puts down the cookies didn't really read that little Chinese note that they scribbled on the side, and she put the cookies down. So the answer is, I think it comes out interesting chiddush, and we'll end with this. The answer is, you don't own them, and therefore you're not over anything. Obviously, you have to get rid of them because you're not allowed to have it in your area, so you get rid of it. But let's say, we'll say a nice chiddush. Let's say the exact same story happened on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday, not a Pesach. You know that this place gives food. You call them up, kosher. They tell them, I don't want the food. Please don't give me the food. You show up and it's there. You're allowed to eat it. Tell me you don't want it. L'chayr will come out that you're allowed to eat it. Because they gave it to you. Now you weren't koine it because you didn't make the kinyan. All right, we just said you can't force someone to make a kinyan. They weren't mizakeh to you, but yeah, so it's true. But good, because then you have to go and get the breakfast. It's not in your room. There is, you get rights to eat the breakfast. It's not yours before you take it. You can take a flight. The cookies. Right, exactly. On the flight that they're giving you. But here is you rented it and it's part of your thing. It's sitting in your room. I wonder aloud, maybe someone could say some sort of lumdis, but give haldik.